I've said several things about him on Facebook, etc. Lamont is what you call one of the most prolific and creatively impacting songwriter that's ever lived.
Ooh.
He is at the same level he's at the same level with any songwriter both sides of the Atlantic. His music that he and the Holland-Dozier brothers produce is timeless. They constantly keep on coming back.
Wow.
You Can't Hurry Love, Baby Love, Where Did Your Love Go? And the list goes on. I Hear a Symphony. You can actually do those records in total orchestration.
Sure. Affinity Extra, be extra.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are personal and do not necessarily represent the views of Affinity Extra.
Here on Affinity Extra Celebrating Gospel Music Black Origin. Yes, he's there. Let me just switch his mic on. Oh, there's me saying if he's there. There you go. Mate, can you hear me? Can you go for it? Let's see if we can hear you. Yeah, man. If you can give us a quick shout, Kevin.
Okay, 1 second. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we can hear you as well, mate. Yeah. So, guys, I've got Master Kevin in today. Kevin Tomlin, who is a black music historian, and I'm making sure everything's recording because we're going to be recording a conversation about late art. Somebody who's late, someone who's late, but someone who died. And we use the phrase late. Now, this is somebody in the music industry which you got noted the other day, which I don't know nothing about. An artist, not artist, but a producer or music writer or songwriter. He can sing as well. And it's Lamont Dozier. He died. He was born June 16th. Obviously, special people. 6. Okay, cool. 1941. Is it Kevin? You know what I mean? I'm using Wikipedia.
He was born
41. And died the 8th of August, just the other day. And
81 years.
81 years, man. And you know what, guys? He's from an area which Kevin mentions almost every time when he refers to a hotbed of music for black people, which is Detroit, Michigan. Yeah. So it's coming from that hotbed of talent. It seems like the times before we had PlayStation and all them things there, young people were using the talent in music, and he was behind 14 US Billboard number ones and also 4 number ones in the UK. So that's not bad going to get 1 number one. But it's just there, man. So I'm going, okay, who is this guy? I ain't got a clue. So who we got now? So Kevin, can you bring some context to this guy?
Lamont Dozier, which is part of. These are some of the things that I've sent up on Facebook concerning the guy and the team he worked with. Holland-Dozier and Holland. Holland-Dozier and Holland, the trio production team, songwriting and music production team that helped to define the sound of young America. The Supremes of Motown Records, the Premier or one of the leading songwriters and production team of the 60s, at the same prolific level of Sir George Martin of the Beatles. Ooh. You heard me. The same level of presence. Matter of fact, they are the first black production team to have transatlantic hits at the same time. That means number one in the UK pop charts and the US charts almost simultaneously. Bad boys, they're heavy dudes.
Wow.
And by the way, their record of 10 hits with the Supremes is still that record is still standing today for a female group.
So what record is it?
Baby Love, You Can't Hurry Love, Where Did Your Love Go?
Baby Love.
Everyone knows that track. I Hear a Symphony and so forth. Those records, 10 records that they produced for the Supremes, that record still stands today. in the Guinness Books of Record. You heard me. In the Guinness Books of Record, it's not been able to surpass by any female vocal group, both in the if they come from the UK, the Spice Girls or TLC, none of them can match it. None.
Wow. And the thing is, they're thinking that we would have easily beaten a record by now.
No, they can't.
Wow.
Okay, for instance, listen to this. This is another one. The first, what you call number one album, the Supremes, Where Did Our Love Go? Listen to this. The songwriting team and music team, Holland-Dozier-Holland, and their first major success on the international scale with the Supremes. The vocal group, the vocal project, Where Did Your Love Go? Became the first studio album in American music history to have 3 consecutive number ones by a female group on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart, on the Hot 100, and also the Cashbox single charts. In 1965, EM said, all three tracks, Where Did Your Love Go?, Baby Love, and Come and See Me, were actually co-written and produced by Holland-Dozier-Holland. He had 3 in one go, from one album, 3 number ones across the Cashbox chart and the Billboard Hot 100, both.
Jeez.
And then in the middle of that, my friend, Baby Love went number 1 in the UK. It crossed over. It was a creative export to the UK.
Okay, yeah, because that track is it's in like, you know, everybody. That's a track that you find in a lot of things in the background. It's not one that I must admit I've actually gone out of my way to play, but it's everybody kind of know it from something on TV. Like
it's either the Baby Love is either in advertisements, film soundtracks, television specials. Look, Baby Love was number 1 on the UK charts, and commencing on the 28th of October 1964, and stayed there for 2 weeks, bruv. And I think it spent about 15 to 13 weeks in the top 5.
Wow.
It was monster. It was an absolute smash. Oh, and by the way, it was number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 single charts weekend in the 31st of the 10th, 1964, 4 weeks.
1964, okay. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine, you know, and this is what I don't get, you know, bro. You know what I mean?
Yes.
One thing I don't like get the success of black music in this country from the 60s. And the struggle still to this day that we have recognition for black music. It's amazing how I think that US creatives seem to have a okay passage, but I find that UK creatives seem to struggle a lot more to make an impact. I don't know what that is, man. And if you're thinking about it from the 60s, black music was purchased in the droves. I don't know if it's a culture of, oh, well, they're not from over here, we enjoy that, or what, bro? Because I'm not saying our music's exactly the same as the Americans, but you would think that because of the dramas that we're facing systemically and personally because of racism, definitely in the 60s and 70s and 80s, it's amazing how much black music they bought. Amazing.
Well, okay. The thing about it, when you think about black music in particular, the Rod Stewart's, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Animals, the Cream, which had Eric Clapton in it, and Phil Collins, David Bowie, and the list goes on. And of course, Simply Red as well. Well, we're going a little bit earlier now. We're going back to the... all these people say that their main influence was from black creatives, or called from the US. When you think about Phil Collins doing a pop number 1 for I Can't Hurry Love, Hurry Love, which was originally recorded by the Supremes and was the number 1 in the US.
That's interesting.
So in actual fact, in actual fact, the US creative entities, black creative entities, had a tremendous matter of fact, the British market really never grows substantially until they adapt those US sounds, you know. It didn't really become a major third creative power broker in terms of size until it's most of the significant hits as black musical DNA written into them. It's almost a part of the creative process. The phenomenon, there's two things with the phenomenon rather, is that one can actually live in departments, morally speaking and emotionally. And I'm afraid that a lot of the indigenous people and so on are quite good at that, you know. They're quite good at that. They can actually do selective boxes. They're Christian here, and then when they see you on the streets, sometimes they ignore you, you know, the same brother and sister you actually worship with, suddenly they put up there and looking through you and all that nonsense. And when they do that, I tend to, when I get the chance, I just straighten them out. I say, stop your nonsense. We're all human beings. Stop that foolishness. We serve the same God. You know, all this stupidness about Christian charts and gospel charts. So the gospel chart is the black one and the Christian charts is the wipe that out and put it all in the same thing, because if you put them all in the same thing, it's quite possibly that the white brother might not be able to show up in the top 10, because the black music groove, when it gets the groove, it sells. It sells across the divide.
And it's amazing, bro, how the secular scene has moved away from separating the certain styles, and we still have, within Christianity, we have the gospel charts and the Christian music charts. And
how do you explain that equation?
It's called systemic racism, bro, because they know where to. They put us all into a little gate, a little fence, a little field, and says fight through that. We'll throw some food into you now and again, while they have the rest of the land free range.
This is another interesting thing as when we talk about music and data and so on. Since we raised that subject, the particular organization that actually measure or give what you say, monitor the intellectual property or the royalties collection with the churches. I'm fascinated to know what sort of money they make, because we don't have no data available for what they make actually, to actually determine how big the
market is.
Market is really, because a lot of churches have to be licensed to actually use, notice the word, use these Christian tracks. So in actually somebody
is getting
some money off this sort of thing here.
And it'd be interesting to find out who. Is it the artist? Or is the artist not claiming?
How much is the artist getting in terms of percentage?
Of the pie?
Yes. So going back to the Holland-Dozier-Holland and Lamont Dozier. Actually, Lamont Dozier was also responsible for the hit that Frida Payne had, Band of Gold, which was 4 weeks in the UK, you know. You know that?
Okay.
It came out on their label. It came out on the Invictus label.
And what's crazy, there's a... what I thought growing up, I thought if a man them work for Motown, they didn't work for nobody else. If a man them don't work for someone, so they don't work for nothing else, But let's go into this Lamont. Is it Lamont Dozier?
Lamont Dozier.
Lamont Dozier worked for quite a few people here, bro.
Yes, he worked with Phil Collins. He worked with what's his name, Nick Ockley. Yes, I was gonna use a word for him, but I say it off camera. The Jamaican term we use.
Yeah, man.
But we don't want to use it.
But I got a feeling it's something to do with John and a crow. But anyway, so
Hey, you don't want to let what Elliot think, because boy, it probably might mess up the brethren career.
Yeah. These common thieves. They're common thieves.
Anyhow.
But anyway, cool.
Now, when you think that he's gone across the board, he's done his creative liaisements with people in the UK and done quite largeable sales, like with the Phil Collins and the Simple Red original member of the Simply Red, which is the only one left, which is the White brother, interesting enough. But that's another discussion. Anyhow, and when you look at the body of work, and he did body of work, he did hits as well. Some of his hits were number one on the Cashbox R&B charts, but not on the Billboard R&B charts, because he stopped at number two, peaked at number two, whatever. But he did fairly decent. He had a very sizable presence as a solo artist on these original labels that he honed with the two Holland-Dozier, the two Holland brothers, Brian Holland, and I can't remember the other one's name. But anyhow, they were joint owners after they left Motown after what you call songwriting dispute and wanted to get a better share. And Barry Gordy didn't get one to give them, so they stopped producing after 67, because it was between 1964 to 67 that they had those 10 number one hits on the Hot 100 with the Supremes. And you have to remember now, they are, in terms of, when you look at them comparing to people such as Babyface and LA and so on, those guys have done bigger numbers, yes. But the only difference between them and Gamble Enough and so on, they didn't really match the number ones in terms of one recording act.
Yeah.
They haven't really matched that. They haven't really matched it at all. And Holland-Dozier-Holland, including which is the late Lamont Dozier, is part of that production and songwriting team, are the only one in the Guinness Book of Records that has actually done that. And that is very interesting. That just show you how powerful and dynamic that they managed to do something in a short space of time with one female group before they disbanded. And before Florence, who was as the gospel flavor. All these women were quite lovely. They came from the projects, right? And they hold their own midst of all the challenges. They had been through some rough time. They paid a price getting to be what you call the top selling female group during that period. If you look at the amount of million sellers they did, I'm Gonna Make You Love Me with the Temptations, that sold 2 million copies and above. It did some nuts sales. Baby Love was gold, and the list goes on.
So it's a quick question. Lamont, what exactly did he do?
Lamont was part of the songwriting team. So he was a technocrat on the piano.
Okay.
He created the bass lines and so on.
So he'll be going.
Yes.
So he'll be making up the melodies and all the business.
Yes, making up the melodies and and then the others doing the structure and the lyrics and so on. So he was part of this elaborate production team that did a lot of things, and they use different, and they use a bunch of musicians called the Funk Brothers that comprises a bass player by the name of James Jameson, one of the best studio bass players of all time, because he had a way of playing the bass which he had a signature bass line. And if you want to hear it, listen to What's Going On, and you can hear it. And other things. Okay. Yeah. So, and then on top of that, what made the Motown sound extraordinary, they used the Detroit Symphony Orchestra string section.
Okay, cool. So where was Motown based?
In Detroit.
In Detroit, okay, because I never somehow I think Motown was like mid, like more south, but Detroit is based. Okay, cool.
Yes, the industrial city, which was the manufacturing base for the cars, all the big major
Ford,
General Motors,
cool,
Chrysler, Ford, etc. Remember these at that time during the 60s. Of course, Barry Gordy used to work at one of those plants, you know, and then he created that quality control and that musical production line, same fashion.
Wow!
And of course, the rest is history because it was called the sound of young America.
Okay, so that's the okay. So I get where Lamont's kind of
and don't forget now with Lamont. Another interesting thing with them, they produce 14 pop #1 singles on the Hot 100, Billboard Hot 100. 14.
So when you say Hot 100, what is that like a
Hot 100
different
is a
about
pop
what?
single chart. It's
So
the US pop single charts.
So
just
it's
like the Cashbox 100, which lasts until 96. It's where when a single reaches that level, it's moving quite sizable sales units. Does that make sense, bro?
That makes total sense.
Okay.
Right, that's crazy. Sorry, guys, if you see me, it's kind of hot up here. It's hot where you are, brother, because it's sweating out.
Oh yeah, it's quite intense at the moment.
Yeah.
So
guys, excuse all the sweat if you're watching the video still, because it is hot up in here, man. I got the lights as well on top of me. It's just like, oh my gosh.
Well, you got studio lights. You're gonna be sweltering, bro.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy.
I can see you sweating. Yes.
Bro, it's crazy. But anyway, go for it, brother.
Okay, look here. First Hot 100 singles was listen to this, was Where Did Your Love Go, which is the title tracks for the album.
Okay.
August the 22nd, 1964, 2 weeks. Boom. Hold on a minute, a few weeks time, bro.
Okay.
In a few weeks time, the Supremes came back again with Baby Love in the same year, 64. October the 31st rather, 4 weeks.
No.
And while he was doing 4 weeks in October the 31st, it made it into the English chart on October the 28th at #1 for 2 weeks. So it was a transatlantic hit of boom, selling almost 1 million copies there, and then over 1 million copies in the US.
Wow.
Okay, hold on a minute. Now you're gonna get hot now, bro. You will get hot. Listen to this one. Come See About Me from the same album, hit #1, December the 19th, 1964 for 2 weeks, just before you end off 1964. So in actual fact, in 1964 alone, Motown created 3 #1s for a female group from one album.
Okay, cool. And this is amongst people like Isley Brothers working with Motown for beat as well. And I think that Lamont was involved with Isley Brothers, one of the biggest creative engines in the black music history. 100%. The guys who bought out albums for joke, who's been sampled for joke, because the fact is they bought out album after album. And I believe, I would say, obviously you get the likes of Prince, only really likes of Prince and a couple of others that's brought out.
But by the way, as you're talking about bought out album, during that same year in 1964, My Guy, produced by Smokey Robinson, was 2 weeks on the 16th of May 1964 for Mary Wells. So in actual fact, Motown was beginning to dominate from 1964 onwards, brother. They were just going. They was
Motown's so would you say compared to Stax? Is it Stax Records? So you got Stax on 5 out of 10. where does Motown fit or Five at? You know what I mean? Compared
You
to
mean
them
in terms of the rating and presence?
in terms of the presence, impact, finance.
Number one, bruv. It was at the point where, at one point, Motown would open the year and close it at the top. It was we're talking about the Supremes. Don't forget about the Temptations. We start talking about the Temptation, what they did with Smokey Robinson, and then what they did with Norman Whitfield. I mean, the numbers. Actually, the Temptation is the only group that sold the most singles that comes next to Beatles in terms of singles sold, million sellers.
Temptations.
Yes. No other group, no other vocal group has produced the amount of million seller singles and platinum, gold and platinum like the Temptations.
Let's look at some information.
Yes, according to so you have to understand that when Motown was exploding, there were several different songwriting teams and production that was emerging as well.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find out.
Norman Whitfield and Barrett became the next major production team after Holland-Dozier departed.
Okay.
And that's when they came together with the Temptation, brother, and they start to explode with hits. You know, Cloud 9. Can I get next to you? I mean, it was just monster. The albums. I mean, at one time, the Supreme had more albums sometime in the top 20 of the Billboard 200 album charts, and also on the R&B. They would have 5 or 6 of their acts with top albums.
Jeez,
it was the Motown. Okay, I'll give you an example here with Motown. Listen to this. This is another thing that was interesting in Motown. In 1965, they had Back in My Arms Again with the Supremes, 1 week, 12th of June, 1965, and then the Four Tops, which is written by the same guys, Holland-Dozier and Holland. Listen to this. I Can't Help Myself, Sugar Pie, Honey Bunch, from the same brothers, so that they would dethrone one of their acts and put the other at the top.
Jeez.
That just sort of
power,
numbers and impact what was happening in the 60s with Motown.
No, and that's crazy. But guys, we will do new Motown in a different conversation still, because again,
yes, it's a totally different conversation.
It's just ridiculous what they do. But Kevin, on this note here, please just close off and just sum up the great Lamont for us still, and just summing up now. Sum this up now.
Okay, I've said several things about him on Facebook, etc. Lamont is what you call one of the most prolific and creatively impacting songwriter has ever lived.
Ooh.
He is at the same level with any songwriter both sides of the Atlantic. His music that he and the Holland-Dozier brothers produce is timeless. They constantly keep on coming back.
Wow.
You Can't Hurry Love, Baby Love, Where Did Your Love Go? And the list goes on. I Hear a Symphony. You can actually do those records in total orchestration, like I heard Bob Marley the other day, where Bob Marley's music was orchestration interpreted by a black symphony section, string section under the order or under the portfolio of the London Symphony Orchestra.
Wow.
So his music is timeless. It's been used. His music is being used. He had hits with his music. With Phil Collins, I Can't Hurry Love, it was a million seller, and from a multi-platinum album. So his music is timeless. Free the Pain, A Band of Gold, all these different brothers, sisters, they worked with. And so, as far as I'm concerned, Lamont Dozier is part of the top 5 most articulate and true masters of songwriting. He was a master lyricist. I mean, at a different level.
Wow.
He was a total technocrat.
Yeah.
Who was transcendent in his impact. Listen, brother. There's only one Lamont Dozier. There's only one, and you're not going to get those kind of breed of men again. These are one-off brothers. They're one-off.
Wow. No, 100%.
Just like Bob Marley, they're one-off. There's no repeat.
No, yeah. I hear that, brother. I hear that. I think, 100%, man. I hear, brother. But listen, bro. On that note, we just wanted to do this emergency kind of show to
honor this brother.
To give credit and salute to Lamont and Dozier, who was part of profiling black music as part of the change of mindset towards I'm saying he was coming through at the charts, the old it wasn't called the urban music charts, it was called the race music charts. They were now fighting. Yes, so he was transcending all charts all around the world to the top numbers out there. So with a salute to the man and Dozier for his contribution to music of black origin. You know what I'm saying? This is us on Affinity Extra. We're here to celebrate gospel music of black origin. I'm alongside Kevin Tomlin, who gives us more insights about historically what his brother did for us and how he represented us in a field where it was tough back then. It was definitely tough, man. So guys, I'm gonna play up a track called Slave. I don't know if that's appropriate, by Phil J. We're gonna kick that off. I don't know why did I pick that track for. I didn't even know we're gonna talk about a song. So I'm gonna go into that one. Kevin, thanks for jumping into us, man. Listen, guys, thanks again, my brother, man. Yeah, bless you, man. Yeah,
peace and love, brother. Peace
bless
and
you,
love.
man. Bless you.
Bless you.
Hey, this is your bishop. This is your bishop from Rock Solid. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much for clicking and subscribing and also sending these videos to other people as well. We are so hungry to get your support. So remember, check us out on our website, and also check us out on Insta and wherever you want to find us on Spotify. You can play us all day as well. And just make sure that you are supporting this channel, that we are developing our agenda towards music of black origin, and that is gospel music with a message. So please walk with us on this journey. Bye now.